this award from a very well-known organization like Inertia, who has been doing wonderful work in the energy sector for the last several years. It's unfortunate that I am not able to come to attend the function to personally receive the award over there, but nevertheless, I'm very thankful that I have been chosen for this award. As you know, the power sector in India has been facing a lot of challenges, particularly relating to fuel supply and also relating to the distribution segment. We have been trying our best to resolve these issues. Some of these issues we have already been able to resolve, and we are on the path of sorting out other issues as well. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. On this brief ENFA show and on the occasion of the 8th ENERTIA Awards 2014, when P.K. Sinha, the Secretary Power Government of India, has won the Best Bureaucrat Award in the country for affecting the sector in a very positive transformational way. And Sinha sir, congratulations to you once again, sir.
Thank you.
And we were indebted as a jury that we could for the first time get an officer who had done what we were talking about in ENERTIA for many years now. In fact, almost a decade, And viewers, let me tell you that it was that first time that in the tenure of P.K. Sinha ji, in a very short time, that management effectiveness in the power sector came, and we achieved 25 gigawatt in a calendar year. So congratulations, sir, once again, sir.
Thank you very much.
So my question is, what was the main issue? Because you were in a very challenging position, the power crisis, then we had the distribution losses, discoms were still not coming out of, the reforms were still in doldrums, and then we had this coal scam also coming up, and all the negatives were there. Yet, if you see the positive story, the capacity addition happened. And at a transitional time, when governments and governance were already being questioned by media and public, So, sir, this is a very fresh breath of air for us. So, we want to know, what was your way of, approaching the situation? For you, it was very challenging, but we would like to know what was the success factor.
Well, thank you very much. You know that we had to work very hard to achieve this rate of capacity addition, and we had gone about it very systematically from the beginning of the year, and whatever we identified, all the power projects, thermal, gas, hydro, whatever source of power generation, even nuclear, that were targeted for commissioning during the current year.
Yes.
And we monitored them very closely, regularly, not only with the state governments but also with the various developers, even private developers. We often called them and reviewed the progress. And apart from that, there were issues relating to fuel supply,
right,
for which projects were commissioning was getting delayed, or even issues relating to availability of transmission corridor, transmission lines,
right,
which were delaying the commissioning of projects. We identified all those individual issues and we resolved and sorted out those issues.
Right. For example, the southern grid was connected in your time.
Exactly.
But that was the big,
I
would say, drawback which was there.
We achieved the national grid.
Absolutely.
By connecting the southern grid, we have now one single national grid which is operating in one.
We're one of the few countries in the world.
Yes, on
absolutely,
one frequency. The whole country is operating on one frequency.
Right.
So by resolving issues relating to fuel supply, by resolving issues relating to transmission availability, corridor availability, and also with close monitoring with the states and developers, we were able to achieve this.
Right, sir.
And the other issue which I mentioned, the issues relating to problems in the distribution segment, which now is the challenge.
That's the real challenge.
That's the real challenge, and we are trying to resolve them in many ways. One major policy reform which we intend to embark upon is to introduce competition in distribution segment,
right,
which means that in any geographical area there will be more than one supplier of electricity,
right, sir,
and the consumer will have a choice,
right, sir,
whether to buy electricity from one supplier or from another supplier or even a third supplier.
Right. In a way, going towards what telecom did,
Yes.
The choice factor, the consumer has the right
Some of the advanced countries also have this already.
Right.
So this by bringing in the competition in the distribution segment, we will be able to resolve issues relating to AT&C losses, theft, etc. also in a big way.
Right, sir.
And we are soon going to come out with a policy.
Right. So to achieve this 7 to 8% minimum GDP growth rate, it is very clear that 25 to 30 gigawatt of power and capacity addition is essential. So now this is a good start, a fantastic start, that in the history of India we have not done this in a year. How do you see the way forward, from here?
You see, you're right. To achieve a high growth trajectory for the economy, high growth in the power sector is very vital.
Right.
And fortunately, even last year and even this year so far, our capacity addition program is absolutely on track.
Right.
And we have achieved so far in this year more than 10% growth in power generation.
Lovely.
Which is, other sectors are more or less stagnant, or some are even showing negative growth, but power sector is one which is showing more than 10% growth.
Right.
Power generation is, and therefore which augurs well for the economy.
Right.
And we are almost midway in the 12th five-year plan, but we have already crossed we have achieved more than half of the capacity addition, which is targeted.
It's on the track, that means.
The 12th plan target is 88,000 megawatt, right? And we have done almost 45,000, more than half.
So that's very good news and fresh news for the first time. Every time you were lagging, This is the first time we are on the track.
As a result of good capacity addition and good generation, we have the power deficit in the country has come down substantially. Right. Today power deficit, which used to be 8-9% in that range, right, today it is in 3% range.
Right, I agree with you. But sir, one fundamental question is there, that still we say that in terms of economic demand, we are still 100 gigawatt less because of the backlog of, let's say, 2 decades almost, 15 to 20 years. Because that is the benchmark people are talking about, because energy access is getting affected in this. Which is not, what we are doing is basically we are talking about demand and supply in the currency state, and mainly urban if you see driven. But how do you see the poverty elevation or energy poverty has to be removed, sir? Energy access. See, for example, Bihar sir has only 500 megawatt of capacity, and this is a thing which India has to seriously think now.
Yeah, you are right. There is a lot of latent power demand, particularly in the rural areas in the country,
right, sir,
which will start throwing up or showing up, and we also have to facilitate the power consumption, per capita power consumption in the rural areas grows.
Right, sir.
For that, and to be able to achieve that, we will continue to need capacity addition in the country, and we continue to focus on states which you mentioned, some of the states which have less capacity addition.
Yeah, because it's very skewed model, sir, because Bihar has a 10 crore population, gets only 500 megawatt, Maharashtra has 11.8 and has 30 gigawatt.
So we have to focus on some of the backward states, backward in the power sector, from the power sector point of view. But even if a state does not have its own generation capacity, today since we operate on one
national grid,
power can be generated anywhere in the country
and sold anywhere.
Right. But it's always good from the energy security of that state's point of view.
Some capacity.
That it has its own capacity.
Right. For example, even UP has a decent 10 gigawatt capacity. So I'm saying Bihar was suffering. So maybe that's a strong point.
There are a few states which need to really add up to their capacity addition program.
Right. One last question, sir, for you. Like we did very well in solar, we made renewables, everything, but why this hydro, sir? We have to do something. We are reviving here. The Shri is being talked about, but hydro is really the game, sir.
Yes, hydro. We want to give it very high priority, and we are giving it. The problem with hydro projects is that the gestation period is very long.
Yes.
The execution of hydro projects takes a long time, and it becomes even longer because of the reef and rehabilitation issues.
Right.
Sometimes local agitations also. So we are closely monitoring all these projects. Bulk of our capacity is in Arunachal.
Right.
So we have almost a monthly meeting with Arunachal Pradesh officers and also all the concerned officers in the government of India to see that the various clearances, etc., which are pending, get resolved and the projects move forward.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all this, and once again, sir, we congratulate. That was P.K. Sinha, Secretary Power, Government of India, and he has laid a benchmark, and I hope all the future secretaries in this particular ministry, which is the lifeline ministry, I always say, for the economy and the country, will function and take a cue from Sinha Sahab and make success. And Jai Hind, and see you again on our next interview on the Infra Show. Bye-bye.
Felicitated.